Hello, I am Centimus Prime, and here I will be unboxing the LEGO Technic set number 42139 all-terrain vehicle. So starting off, we will be taking a look at the box itself. So here on the front, we do get a nice display of the set displayed on the front. You have looking good. You do get a lot of detail in there. The, the background's not looking too bad. It's just like a faded background of like a nice little like outdoor landscape. You even got some log cabins there off to the side, very nice. Up and then up here you do get your steering things, the Lego logo, the Technic logo, the recommended age, the number, the name, and the number of parts used to build this set. And so looking off to the sides, here we have the top side, not much going on here, it's just languages and stuff. Here we do get another image of the set inside. And over up here we do get a like size like little demonstration like little corner showcasing how large this set is going to be, and that's like the actual size of one of the wheels. So that's going to be interesting. Turning over to this side, kind of picked up a little bit of dust. Here, not much going on here, it's just the same, just how that side's looking. Over here on this side, you do get the bottom with like little like app, like advertisements for like apps and stuff. Also a little bit of box damage. I mean, like it is a larger box, so I guess it's more susceptible to damages like wrinkles and damages like this. But no matter. Over here on this side, it's more or less the same as on like the opposite end, the opposing end. And then here we have a look at the back of the package, the back of the box. So here's like pretty cool. So we do get another image of the set itself. Looking good. You get it from like another angle, so you can see more things from different angles. And also, across the bottom here is a demonstration, like well, a demonstrations for like some of the gimmicks and stuff it has, like some like crazy like suspension, some little like engine detailings, some gear shifting, and also like a dumping like back end loader. So that's pretty cool, And then we also get our little like tab things for the top and bottom of this side of the box. Now because this is an unboxing, I'm not really, I don't really, I don't really mind that the box here is kind of like damaged because we're going to be opening it anyway. So with that, let's get this open. Yeah. Get this. Boom. No. Recording right now. That's me. That's me, bro. But anyway. There we go. I'll move that out of the way. And here we have the contents of our box. Yeah, I'm still recording. Anyway, here we have the contents of this box. So we can go ahead and first look at the instructions. It is a nice hefty book. Very nice. It's a nice hefty book of the instructions. Like bring this back a little bit. By turning the page here, we do have a nice look at some of the parts. Yeah, we do have a look at all the parts here that are going to be in the set. Be used here. There's quite a lot here to. Yeah, that's a lot. It's gonna be interesting. Turning the page again, we have the same sort of gimmicks and features that are displayed on the back of the packaging, with the addition of the little winch. Hold on. Did it mention? No, it didn't mention the winch on the back of the box. It has winch. And then after that, and then before that, it's just advertisements for the sets. It's just instructions for the set itself. Here's front page. And here's a little instruction tip when it comes to comparing different Technic pieces to each other. And yeah, everything else is just the instructions themselves. So we can go ahead and move that to the back for now. So we can then take a look at the parts themselves. So here we have the sticker sheet, which is kind of wrinkled to the side. I assume it was at a corner, at one of the corner edges or something. So it shouldn't be too bad. Still has a lot of nice details within these stickers. I just hope the stickers on this side aren't too bad. Moving those, we can go ahead and start opening some parts. Move that to the side. Here we have the wheels and tires. So we have 6 of these kind of tire pieces, and then 6 of these wheel pieces that insert into the tire. Very nice, very cool. Let's move those back there. Next up would be, well, I assume bag number 1 first. So let's move the other. So in here we do have two bag number 1s, 2 bag number 2s, and a bag number 3. So starting off with bag number 1. Let's take a look at the contents inside. So there is a smaller bag in here. There we have that smaller bag in here, as well as a couple small little boxes. Oh, and another small little bag of parts. So let's take a look at the stuff in here. So we have one of these sort of Technic frame pieces. We got a good amount of Technic lift arms. Got some varying lengths of, well, got some various lengths of axles, both just regular axles and the ones with the little stoppers at the end. Got a couple of these, which are very nice. Do appreciate those parts a lot. We got a nice little Technic gear in blue with the pinhole. Got a few of these, which are always nice. Got this piece. I got like pieces like this and this. This piece is for the like gearbox that this thing is gonna have, so that's nice. That's exciting. And then two of these, which are for like the engine, like these are supposed to be like the for the cylinders of the engine that's gonna be put together. So that's gonna be interesting. Then after that we have these pieces. These are cool. So here we have a couple of these suspension springs, these suspension like parts, little like assembly pieces. They come pre-assembled. They have like an actual metal spring in there, and yeah, like they spring up and down. Both of them together are is like a little bit stronger. Very nice, very cool. Do appreciate that. So up next, let's open up the little boxes. So in small box number one, we have this tiny little rubber band piece. Very neat. And in small box number two, we have what I can only assume is the string. Yep, here it is. It's the string. And it, of course, comes wound up on this little piece of cardboard. But I can assure you that is for the winch. That's going to be for the winch. This is going to be for something else. And then these are going to be for the suspension. So let's move those off to the side so we can take a look at these smaller pieces in this first bag. So in this bag, we have mostly just your like standard like Technic pieces, and including a little bit of the system stuff. Got like your 3-length axles, your blue pins, your black pins, your these kind of pins. Yeah, got these kind of pin axles, got these kind of pin axles, got some of these ball joint pins, ball joint axles. These parts which I have seen before, but they're not really in white, so that's really cool. Also got one of these, at least one of these. That's cool. And then, like, the most interesting part in here is probably this. Probably these. So these are like the little parts that go in here, as well as another piece that's yeah. Oh yeah, there's the other pieces in there. But yeah, these are supposed to go in there, so, in one orientation or the other. But yeah, like not a whole lot of like crazy stuff going on with that stuff. Not a lot of crazy stuff going on with that. Then here we have our other small bag from the first big bag. And again, not a whole lot of stuff. You got your nice little blue boys. You got these parts which are nice and reliable. You got your ever so iconic. Well, these are like the iconic ones that are like absolutely everywhere. But these ones are also like pretty much everywhere. It's these like nice little red ones. And then a bunch of like these ones. And a couple of these ones which are also cool. Also nice to have. But like the interesting thing in here for me is well, first this piece in white. That's cool to have, as well as two of these, which are apparently these like kind of like little things with like the ball joint at the end. So what's going to happen here is that the ball joint here is going to be inserted into this part, and then this is going to be uh, doing doing like engine stuff. It's, it's gonna work as a cylinder, basically, as like an engine like cylinder. Very nice. And then that's pretty much it for that first bag of number one. So here we have our second bag of number ones. So getting this open real quick. Here we have our other things. So here we have more parts for our winch with our hook piece and our like winch, like our piece that our winch, the rope goes. Very nice. We got some more gears and stuff. We got some black gears, some of these gears, some of these gears, some of these like angle gears. Nice little angle gears. A lot of like nice little cool stuff. A bunch of these in orange, which are really cool. Which are really nice to have. We got this part, which is for the gear shift. And you got this part, which is for the gear shift. So what's going to happen here is you got this piece and this piece. You got, so what's going to happen is you have this piece and you like insert it, and you have it like in a Technic structure assembled so that these two pieces interact like this, so that this red nub like lines up with this groove of this part, so you could pivot it like this, and this part will then move up or down or left or right or forward and back or whichever rotation it might be. Very cool. Got a bunch of those in orange. Got a few more of these. Got a few of these, which are really nice to get more of. Aside from that, it's just more like standard Technic stuff. Oh, this is also for the. This is also for the. This is also for the gear shift. I believe this is supposed to go insert into here, so that you can easily connect this onto another Technic, onto more Technic stuff. So that's really cool. Again, not a whole lot of interesting new pieces, but you got some parts in some interesting colors and in some other interesting stuff here and there. So with that, we can go ahead and move on to our bag number 2s. So this time I'm going to start off with the smaller bag. I just noticed that this part was somehow left inside this little bag, so you have that one in this bag too. Then now moving on to number 2. More stuff we've already seen. Got a bunch of these in red, which we have seen in one of the previous bags. We do get a bunch more of these 3-length axles, the 4-length axles with stoppers, the blue pins, the iconic black pin, as well as a few more of these orange Technic pieces. Yeah, with that, there's not a whole lot of interesting stuff in there, so we can move that off to the side. And let's get on to our bigger bag number 2. So we have that. So in here we do get another smaller bag of parts. Okay, so there's a lot of interesting stuff in here. First of all, we do get these nice Technic panels. Those are going to be really nice. And for the builds, we got some more of these Technic frames. Got a lot more of these Technic lift arms. Got some nice lift arms in here. We also got nice We also got a nice amount of like gears and stuff. They have like these kind of stuff that like gets inserted together like that. Very cool. Got ooh, you got a couple more axles in this one, but you got this one's mostly like lift arm pieces and Technic, like, well, it's all Technic, but you got more like Technic. This one's pretty much like a bunch of lift arms and stuff. And then we have these. These are really cool. So in here, yeah, these are really cool because these are the differential gears. You got two of these differential gears, which will be the basis for our differential like assemblies for this vehicle, because this vehicle, on top of having gear shift and all the other features featured on the box, it also has differentials, which are really nice. That's really cool. As well as 4 more of these neat, uh, really neat uh, suspension pieces. That's also really nice. So you get a total of 6 in here. That's really cool. And then we got pieces like this, which are really nice. And I think that's it for that bunch. You get a couple gears like this, but yeah, aside from that, that's it for that. So let's move on to the little baggie that was inside the parts here, and with the parts in here. Okay, there we have that, dumping out the parts. There we go. In here, not a whole lot of new stuff. We get a whole bunch more of these pieces in white. That's nice. We do have some system stuff. We do get a couple of these tiles in clear red. I assume those are tail lights. And we also have a few of these. These are very interesting. These are like the phone pieces that minifigures would use as phones. I believe those are going to be used for like some sort of like detailing or what have you. We also got these teeny tiny gears that are, I believe, are going to be used for the differentials to give them their differential gear power. But aside from that, it's just a bunch of like more standard Technic pins and axles and stuff. Very nice. Very cool. Alright, let's go ahead and slide that there. So we can move to our final bag. So here is bag number 3. So here's our bag number 3. It also has a couple of like small pieces. Yeah, so it also has a couple of like these smaller pieces, that bag's full of smaller pieces. So let's go ahead and run through these first before we go through the stuff in here. Really moving this camera to the side. So in this bag we have in this one it's mostly like black and blue pieces. We got a bunch more of these blue pins, a bunch more of the iconic black pins. We got a few of these in black, which are pretty cool again, that color. Like stuff like this. Yeah, like not a whole lot of stuff that we haven't seen before. and Technic pieces. Then we have this bag. Getting this one open. And in here we have, we got our nice little blue pin axle. We got a bunch of those in here. We got these pieces in here in orange. We got some cool little we got what appears to be links to like a sort of chain. We got these links to like a chain. Got a bunch of those. We also got more like system stuff. We got a couple of these tiles in transclear. We got these tiles in transclear. We also got at least a couple of these white round stud pieces in white. And also some like really tiny gears that still gear like they're supposed to gear. Also a couple of these sort of small rod pieces. They're very nice. Oh, and also a couple of these in white and a couple of these in white. Not a whole lot, but still like really interesting. Now let's move back to this with our final little batch of parts from bag number 3. So in here we got a bunch of Technic panels. These are as long as these ones, but they're not as wide. We got a couple of those. Well, a few of them really. We got a couple more of them right here. We got a couple of these kind of panels which they curve. We have more of a curve and stuff with other like odd connection points here and there that are very useful. We also got a bunch. Also got our notable like system parts that are featured in the set. We got a bunch of these in here, which will be our logs, which will be pieces for our logs. Got a bunch of those in brown. So that's pretty neat. We also have a bunch of these sort of what I like to call Technic chair pieces, but I'm sure that these will be used for stuff other than chairs. So I got one of these in black and 4 of them in white. So you have that. We got some more of these Technic lift arms. We got these really long Technic lift arms in orange. Cool. Got some lift arms in white and like gray. Yeah, stuff like that. You also got this sort of Technic like hood piece that's going to be used for like part of the hood, I believe. And then there's also some other smaller Technic panels. Some like these kind of Technic panels. And these are basically our wedge pieces, but in Technic, because these parts do look similar, but they are in fact mirrored. So you got, so much like the wedge pieces, you do get a left one and a right one, a right one and a left one, a left one and a right one. And the same goes for these ones, these white ones. So you got one of each in orange, and then we got 2 of each in white. That's pretty cool. And then we also get these sort of macaroni pieces in black. That's nice to get in that color. And then aside from that, here's a couple more of these macaroni pieces, so you do got like 6 of those. But aside from that, it's just like, we also got like a few of these. We got like 3 of them in like gray, 4 of them in black in this bag. But we have seen more of these in the set, so you do get a bunch more of those. And aside from that, just smaller little like stuff we've already seen before. Some like axles, some smaller lift arms, some of these pieces. And it's like, like it's not nice. And like, and with that, that's pretty much it for for all of the for all of the parts included in here. So let me go ahead and bring everything in a little bit closer without mixing everything together. And there we have that. And yep, overall, you do get a large range of small Technic pieces, and also some larger pieces that are going to be really useful, are going to be really nice to use, not only for the construction of this giant vehicle, or I assume it's going to be giant, considering how large the wheels are. But also, there's also a lot of nice stuff here for either Technic-based mocks or like system-based mocks that use a lot of like Technic stuff inside. There's just like a nice range of good Technic pieces in here. As per usual with these Technic stuff, a lot of your standard like pieces that you would see in Technic all the time, but also a good amount of pieces that are unique to this set and are going to be really useful for this. And overall, I'm really pleased with the selection of pieces in the set, and I can't wait to put this thing together for a review. I'll let you know what I think. But until then, I think that'll be it for this unboxing. If you enjoyed this video, consider to like and subscribe, and maybe even comment if you want. And of course, I will be posting again sooner or later.